So now let's take a look at the, I'm going to have Joe hold up the pictures just briefly, because there are some things that I want to point out. When you get used to it and you know it a little bit, you actually fall in love with these particular artistic manifestations of the ox herding pictures. The ox is the symbol of enlightenment, but that's also the symbol of God. When you are seeking in the 12th century Buddhist idea, that's their expression of what we would call seeking God. So the boy then is seeking for the water buffalo, the bull, the ox. And you see in the picture, you see in the left, upper left, that's the forest. You see the branches of a tree. On the right, you see the waterfall. That's the oceans and the rivers of the world. And below that is the plain, the plain land. And then, so the boy is actually searching in every geography, in every part of the world. And he's kind of dumb in this way. He's just beginning the purgative way, see? And he's not too smart. And he actually has to learn about the true self. You know, and the true self is where you stand in the presence of God. And he's not enlightened. He has not found the ox, but it's good. He's doing a good thing. He's starting the search for him, and if you'll notice, he's already prepared. You see, he has the reins, and he has the I suppose you'd call it the whip, and he's ready, and he's going to find this ox, and this is like almost like, you know, when a novice enters the monastery. This is the position they're in. Okay, would you take that picture down? I want you to look at me rather than look at some pictures. But this is the beginning of the spiritual journey. And in this journey, it includes everywhere, because God is actually found everywhere. But the boy doesn't know this. He has to search for him. He doesn't know that he doesn't really have to search for him at all, but he will learn that. And he will learn that everything is a manifestation of God, including himself. And so as he begins this journey in a state of ignorance, but it's a grace state. God calls him through that ignorance into humility and a true knowledge of himself, and gives him the real power to be enlightened, a power that goes beyond such things as the reins and the whip that the boy feels is so necessary in order to capture the ox, the symbol of enlightenment. All right, now the second picture. This is the boy sees the footprints of the ox. You see them on the left. And if you notice, I love this and the idea of this. The boy is running after the ox. If he only knew what he was getting into. You know, Julian of Norwich says that she prayed when she was a young girl that she could experience the suffering and the death of Christ on the cross. And she says, if I had only knew what I was asking for, I never would have asked for it. So we have to be careful about what we pray for. But God is beginning to manifest himself to the boy in a way that is compatible with the boy's expectations. I like to relate this picture to religions, all religions. Okay, you could take the picture down. I'd like to, all religions are actually these footsteps. And we don't, where they're going to take us, they will basically take us to God. If we don't know where the footsteps are going to go, we don't really know what kind of purgations are there, but they are manifestations of God. And God's footprints are all over the place. The world is filled with them. You can't escape them. They're everywhere you look. And you can follow them in so many ways and in so many directions. To run like the boy is doing could be a little bit imprudence. And he sees, you notice he's holding his reins out. He's ready, and that bull better watch out because he's gonna, when he catches him, and he knows he's going to do it, and he's all ready to do it. And there is this eagerness, there is, when people are converted to any religion, if it's a real conversion, they become very eager participants of the, you might say, of the direction of that religion, of its commandments, of its practices, and they become very fervent, in the ways that they are taught. And so that's where the boy is, chasing after the bull. Now, the next picture. He sees the bull. Now, this is what really attracted me to the ox herding pictures the first time I saw them. You see the bull? He's half hiding behind a tree. I think that, I don't know, I think the boy is, he's ready to go out and get him, but he's a little puzzled. And he's kind of saying, well, what's going on here? What am I dealing with? And I can't even see the whole bull. And now he can see the hindquarters of the bull, okay? Now, let's look at the Christian equivalent of this. You remember when Moses went up to Mount Sinai and God gave him the commandments, and then Moses went down and he saw how the people were worshiping idols, and he broke them, and then he went back and he got them again. And then, according to the Jewish tradition, God spoke to Moses about all the details of the Torah, of the law. And then God kind of said to Moses, well, okay, that's it. Is there anything else I can do for you? And Moses did a very bold thing. He said, I would see thy face. And God said, no one can see the face of God and live. But I'll tell you what I will do. You see that rock, that big rock over there? And it's kind of split on one side. Well, you go in that cleft of the rock and you peek out, and I will walk by, and you will see my hindermost parts. I really shouldn't say this, but God moved Moses. And here is the ox mooning the boy. He's not seeing the full thing. See, this is the symbol, this whole picture is the symbol of the Cataphatic understanding of God. We only see and we only know in part. Uh, God is hidden. And here you have God is hidden behind the tree. So this is a beautiful expression of the Cataphatic, the place where the boy is now. He's still in a purgative way, but he's approaching illumination. Okay, the next picture. Yeah, we'll go right to the next picture. I love this picture. The boy thinks he's caught the ox. And you know, the attraction was there, and this is the clinging. Who is in charge in this picture? I think it's obvious. If the bull wanted to, he could eliminate the boy, but he doesn't want to. He wants this attraction because even as the boy is clinging to the bull is clinging through the same means with the boy. And this is a powerful experience. This is where you can go through the dark night of the senses. And the struggle is there, you see. And if he lets go, he's gone. So he doesn't let go. He always has this faith, this hope, and this love, which is the way he clings to God. So the boy now is beginning to enter into the way of enlightenment. He's beginning to find out this was not as easy as I thought. Okay, thank you. He's bound now to have experiences that were beyond anything he could have imagined. We think we know the way, but we do not know the way. The way God leads us and the value and the struggles in which we are to find joy are different from anything we could have predicted or anything that we could expect. I don't know how long these things take. I'm 88 years old, and I won't tell you where I am in terms of the ox herding pictures, but sometimes I'm certainly there. I'm holding on for dear life, and I'm being tossed around. I recently underwent 33 treatments for a cancer. I had a large cancer removed from my neck. I am pretty much blind, at least I'm legally blind. My hearing is gone. Without aids, I can't hear. I can't walk. I'm in a wheelchair, I'm confronting all of these things, and all of the infirmities that come with age. I have them all, but I am so happy, and I have never been so content. So the struggle, the clinging, the struggle involves at least the beginnings of this third level of love that we call enjoyment. I certainly experience that level of love. I live in the joy of union and oneness with God. Okay, next picture. Now, this is interesting. All the struggle is gone. This is very peaceful, and it looks like the boy is leading the ox, but he is not doing that. The ox is freely submitting to the boy, but the boy is not in charge here. Look at the reins, look at the rope by which the boy is seemingly leading the ox. Do you see how the rope hangs down? The boy is not leading him at all. The ox is willingly placing himself behind the book. It looks to me like he's ready to give him a kick, but there's a harmony there. There's a union there. There's a oneness there. I think this does represent certainly the beginnings of the unitive way. Okay. Now I think we're going to go through the next 5 now rather quickly because our time is just about over. So let's take a look at the 6th picture. I love this one. You know, in the most ancient form of these pictures, there is a text underneath the picture, and it's like a koan. But the text underneath this picture says, "Everybody who sees him smiles." Now this is enjoyment at its highest level. The boy is sitting on the bull. He's not directing the bull. He's just freely going wherever the bull leads him. And he realizes that the bull knows more than he does. And he not only does not have to worry about it, he can rejoice in this union, this oneness that he has with the ox. And so he sits there playing the flute, and everybody who sees him smiles. This is a very important thing in terms of light and love, illumination, and oneness with God. The oneness with God, of course, is manifested by the boy is sitting on the top of the ox. He is not directing the ox. The ox is taking him wherever he wishes. And the boy is comfortable and happy, and he communicates that happiness to everyone who sees him. This is so important in terms of love and love of God. The boy is on the 3rd stage of love, the stage of enjoyment, but it's really love. And so it is being shared with all others. Love is something that cannot be contained. Love is something that bursts forth from a loving heart and spreads itself to everybody who comes near. People sometimes in the presence of the boy, they feel this, whatever it might be, they feel something, they don't know what it is, but it's something that draws them. It draws them to him, and ultimately it draws them to God, to union with the bull. So, okay, number 7. Now, this is very interesting. You see, the boy is home. He's sitting down. It looks like, he's just sitting under the sun, basking in its warmth. And there's no sign of the bull. There's no sign of struggle. The boy is just at home. Okay, you can take that picture away. So what does this mean for us in terms of the spiritual journey? Well, C.K. Chesterton says that our journey is, we leave by the front door, and we walk all the way around the world and we come in the back door. And that's what the boy has done. Uh, uh, he has found the ox. He has ridden the ox. He has enjoyed the ox. He has gone where the ox wishes to take him. And this is where the ox takes him. The ox takes him to where he started. And you have also this statement of C.S. Lewis where he says, we should never cease our explorations. And the goal of our exploring will be to find the place where we started and see it for the first time. This is what the boy is doing. He is here in the unitive way. He is seeing, he is being fully and completely present to the manifestations of God which surround him. It doesn't matter whether it's his home or whether it's a convent or whether it's a parish or whether it's a working in the coal mines or whether it's serving in the services or whatever it might be. When you're in this stage, you know that you are in the presence of God, that you are enveloped in his love, and you recognize it, and you are at peace with it. This is a beautiful thing, and it's ultimately expressed in the next picture, number 8, I guess. And this is perfect contentment. This is utter and complete nothingness, which is really everything. This is true enlightenment. As the cloud of unknowing says that the contemplative prayer, the mind is rushing towards God and is filled with God. And in itself, it is empty, but it contains every manifestation of God. It's what one of the Buddhist teachers calls a portrait of all that is. Emptiness and fullness are one and the same. This is complete and total non-duality. There is no boy, there is no ox, there is no cataphatic or apophatic. There is simply the reality of God. Now, for a long time, this is where the ox herding pictures used to end. But later on, another form of Buddhism added on the next 2 pictures. So let's look at and see why. We can remove this one. We are told that Jesus tells us, when he was challenged by the scribes and Pharisees to tell us what the greatest commandment in the law was. And of course, Jesus quoted, I think the book of Numbers, he quoted where it says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your might." This means love God with the total reality that you possess. But then thing is, he couldn't stop there. Something he had to add on. And he says, and the second is like to it. Now, that's important. The second one is like this first one. It's loving with your whole heart, your whole soul, and your whole mind. But the object of your love here, in the love of God, is your neighbor. And of course, who is your neighbor? Your neighbor is everyone. No one is lacking from that roster of people that you love because of the love of God. So now look at the next picture. Notice this picture is, in some ways, it's very much like the first one. There's the tree, that's the forest, there's the land, then there's the water, the rivers, and so forth. But there's no boy and there's no bull, there's no ox. But this is the total reality. Father Thomas Keating likes to say, there's nowhere you can go to find God, and there's nowhere you can be to get away from him. And this is the situation here. The boy is a part of total reality. He is one with every manifestation of God. There's no need to search for God because God has found him. And now let's look at the 10th picture. This one is quite amazing. And there are many, many different interpretations of it. But the boy is in the marketplace and he's teaching his wisdom. You see, even the man, he's a young boy and he's speaking to an adult. And what is he talking about? He's talking about his journey. He's sharing his journey. You cannot have this journey, have a success. You can stop that picture now. You cannot have, a successful journey to God without sharing it. It's essential. There's no such thing really as a hermit. Unless a hermit, as Thomas Merton is careful to point out, unless he becomes a hermit for the sake of humanity, he's a phony. Then everything we do, every tiny bit of love that we have is the love of bonding with God, but at the same time, it's a bonding and a union with every single man, woman, and child in the past, in the present, and in the future.